Hello everyone, and welcome to the April edition of Onward Lebanon, a show airing monthly here on the Lebanon Channel 6. I'm your host, Robert Buskirk, and I serve the Lebanon community as Superintendent of Lebanon City School District. Onward Lebanon is designed to provide viewers with an insight into Lebanon schools, its people, its students, and its programming. Joining me today, I have two special guests. First, I will be speaking with Mr. Matt Nolan. Mr. Nolan currently serves as the County Auditor for Warren County, and we will be talking about the upcoming renewal levy for the district that is on the ballot for May 4th. My second guest will be Mrs. Beth Kletzly, the building principal at Berry Intermediate School. She will be sharing with us what's going on at Berry this spring. Before we get to Matt, I want to remind parents and students the district calendar change with 2 additional work from home days for students. Students will work from home on Friday, April 23rd and Friday, May 7th. Again, this is a change from the original schedule, and we want to make sure all parents are aware. At this time, I would like to welcome Warren County Auditor Matt Nolan. Matt, welcome to Onward Lebanon.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Matt, before we get into the information about our upcoming renewal, could you share with us what the County Auditor's Office is responsible for, and more specifically, what's your role as the County Auditor?
Sure. So the County Auditor at heart is the CFO of the county. We run all of the finances of Warren County, and that's what it was made to be. And then since then, 200 years ago, when they formed the Auditor's Office, it's become the dumping ground for every job that the legislature has. So we handle dog license and cigarette license, and if you need to check your scales or your gas pumps, you'll see my name on it. We're in charge of all the weights and measures in the county. So we do all these kind of random jobs around, but at our heart, we're responsible for all the money. And over $2 billion goes through Warren County every year, and all of that comes through our offices and distributed out. And I'm personally responsible for every nickel of that, so we are very conscientious about the dollars coming through Warren County.
Great. Lebanon City School District has an emergency operating renewal on the ballot May 4th. It was originally passed back in 2011. It's been renewed once. It's a 5-year levy, so it is up again. And I get this question a lot. What does the term emergency mean when referring to levies?
Sure. So emergency, I don't know if it's the best term of art that the legislature put on it, but it really means when it was originally passed that was money that must be passed to keep the school district operating out without being below balanced. And so that's what it means. But more importantly, it means that it's a set dollar amount. Every other type of levy that would be passed would be based on millage and would increase. This levy collects the same amount every single year, and I change the millage on it every single year so that it collects the same amount of money.
Great. So you talked about some other types of operating levies that are available. What other options are there for taxpayers and school districts when they're looking for new operating money?
Yeah, there's quite a few different options out there now. They keep adding on different types of operating levies, just standard operating outside millage levies. There are something called substitute levies, which are very complicated, but they all have the same characteristics in that as new construction happens, which is constant in Warren County and in Lebanon, growing very quickly, the district gets more money from those. The difference with the emergency levy is that they do not get new money. They keep that same amount of money, which is a benefit to all the taxpayers of Lebanon in that each individual pays less.
Right. Good. So you kind of just explained my next question was going to be, so why is it better for the taxpayers to just renew an emergency levy than change it to a different type of levy?
Yeah, that's the biggest reason. I don't know necessarily that it's better, but I think there's 2 reasons. There's that, in that the levy won't collect less. It'll charge less to each taxpayer. But it also gives the residents a chance to say, hey, we support you, we want to pass this, or we don't. You know, we live in a democracy and people get a vote for things. It's not always the cleanest, most fun thing for all of us,
right?
But people get to do it. And for the most part, every renewal levy has passed in Warren County for the last 2 decades since I've been a part of this, except for one in Springboro. So every other renewal levy has passed in the last 20 years. And I think for the most part, people really respect our schools and what they're doing and want to keep encouraging that.
Great. So the current levy, you said you reduced the millage each time, and this time it's 2.83 because, as you said, we collect the exact same amount, and this is a $3 million levy.
Yeah.
So we won't collect any more than the $3 million, even as property values grow. So the term's confusing for many people. Can you explain? I know this is, probably boring to a lot of people,
Yes.
but what is the term? What does mill mean?
Mill is literally, and I've got little YouTube videos out there if somebody wants to watch on what a mill is. I literally don't think there's anything more boring on YouTube than my speaking on what a mill is. The real definition is $1 per thousand. So if you do all the calculations and you get a mill, but ignore all of that, a mill is $35. If you think of nothing else, say a mill is $35 per $100,000 in value. So if your house is worth $100,000, you're paying $35 every time you hear mill. If I can just kind of get that in everybody's head to think that way, I think it complicates it a lot less. If you want to come into my office and go through the details of how they came up with what a mill is, and how happy to do that. But for most of you watching, just think $35 per $100,000 every time you hear mill, and you'll be way ahead of the game in how it works.
Great. The other question that I often get, and we kind of talked about this again, is the value of my house has increased and my taxes have increased, so why does the school need more money?
Yeah.
And as you know, your taxes may have increased, but it's not because of the school district.
That's exactly right. Your taxes have increased, and it is in part by the school district for other levies that were voted on.
Yeah.
And so when I raise values, which I do every 3 years, I change values every 3 years, but over the last 6, I've increased them. Prior to that, we decreased them. Your taxes do not go up anywhere close to as much as your value goes up. And we're getting ready to increase values again. Anybody that lives in Warren County, lives in Lebanon, knows how great the real estate market is if you're a seller, tough if you're a buyer. And so when we increase values, tax rates come down, and for the most part meet in the middle. There are a few levies that get new money, but not most of them. So as values go up, taxes do not go up at that same rate unless voters vote them up, and that's an individual decision for each voter.
Great. So talking about increased property value, you said you're getting ready to do that again. Every 3 years you do that. What's the process you have to go through to do all that?
Sure. We go through in the whole county, each school district, everything is split into neighborhoods. And sometimes it's simple neighborhoods that actually exist, and some we draw lines to make neighborhoods that don't. And then we look at the sales, and we have to analyze each sale and say, all right, we've got a house valued at $90,000. It sold for $100,000. We're a little low. We need to raise it a little bit. And we do that in each neighborhood in the county. And in the end, it's not our say. We do our best. We get those numbers as close as we can. We know the county better than others, but the state has the final say. They review all those numbers and they'll approve it. And like I said, everybody that's living in the county knows our real estate values are going up dramatically. That's good. That means you have more equity in your home. That means you have more flexibility. But it does mean an increased value for tax purposes as well. So that kind of goes along with the territory. But I would take that over 2009, 2012, when values were going down. Absolutely. And people's mortgages were a mess. Yep. I don't think that, it's a great time to live in Warren County. I'm happy to see values going up because it's good for everybody.
Good. So. Well, I appreciate you sharing. And again, I just want to remind everybody that the May 4th issue for us, it is not any new money. It's just a renewal. It will not increase taxes and all. And as you said, the community has been very supportive of renewal levies, and we just want to make sure we get the word out to remind everybody May 4th.
That's great.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, thank you. We're going to take a quick break, and our next guest will be Mrs. Beth Kletzly, the principal at Berry Intermediate.
Some things in your medicine cabinet are more dangerous than others. When it comes to prescription drugs, opioid pain medicines can be addictive and even deadly. Half the people who misuse prescription pain medicines get them from a friend or family member. Be part of the solution. Go through your medicine cabinets, drawers, anywhere you keep unused opioid pills, patches, or syrups. Find out how to dispose of them safely. Visit fda.gov/drug disposal.
How can I help my daughter with her reading? Searching for help with dachshund breeding.
Oh.
Let me try. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out words.
Playing world music.
What?
I give up.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
Our next guest on this edition of Onward Lebanon is Berry Intermediate Principal Beth Kletzly. Welcome, Beth.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Before you share with us what's going on at Berry, let's share with everyone a little bit about yourself. You are not originally from Lebanon, correct?
That's correct.
Where are you from?
From Columbus, Ohio.
Okay. And where'd you go to college then?
Went to Wittenberg and Springfield.
All right. What brought you to Lebanon?
So at Wittenberg, there were practice interviews, and an administrator from Lebanon did those interviews and then invited me to come interview at the district.
All right. And so where was your first teaching position?
At Louisa Wright.
Okay. What grade?
Third grade.
Third grade. And how long were you there teaching?
I taught for 7 years, third grade, multi-age for second and third grade. Then I was an instructional leader for 3 years. And then I was at Donovan for a year as an assistant principal, and then I've been at Berry ever since.
So you've been at Berry how long?
18 years.
18 years as either assistant principal or principal.
Yep.
So I can comfortably say that you work really well and know that age group of children pretty good, huh? All right. In addition to working here in Lebanon, you also live here, correct?
That is correct.
All right. And you've had 2 kids that have gone through the school district.
Yes, I have a freshman in college and incoming freshman in high school.
Okay. All right. And your husband, Mike, works here in Lebanon also, right?
He does.
All right. Great. Well, let's get into what's going on at Berry. I have a daughter at Berry, as you know, and she's been talking about all the state assessments. What is the state assessment schedule at Berry?
So we just completed this week of language arts testing. Next week will be math testing, and then the following week will be science testing for 5th grade.
All right. So has it been testing for both 5th and 6th grade this
Yep.
week and next? Okay,
Yes.
Great. It's always a relief for students and staff when the state tests are completed, I know. In a normal year, there's lots of fun activities planned. With all the COVID restrictions in place, do you still have anything going on in the spring here that's fun and exciting for the kids?
So you're right, we definitely have to make adjustments. We typically do a big test fest, and we're altering that into more of an ice cream time on the front lawn. We are going to be able to do our track and field. It will be altered to be safe, of course, no tug of war, but great that we can still get out there and do that, and certainly appreciate all the efforts from our PTO to help us get those events taken care of. We also will be doing our annual career day. It will just be virtual, and parents have agreed to send in videos, and of course, again, a different kind of day, but we still get to do something, so that's great.
Something I'm very proud of with all of the principals in the district is, even though there's restrictions in place, you guys have all worked really hard to continue to give great experiences for the kids. You just have to look at how you're doing them so they can be done safely. So I do appreciate that with you and all the principals. So is there anything else you want to share about that's going on in Berry or anything?
Well, when you say that about the principals, certainly at Berry, it never could have been done without our staff. Amazing group of people who have just jumped in, and I think every day how lucky I am to be with those people. And I have a wonderful assistant, Tiffany Martin, and with all of us together, we've been able to make the year an okay year.
Yeah. I would venture to say it's been better than okay, and it's been a hard year, but it's been a great year.
Yeah.
So, well, I'd really like to thank you for stopping by and sharing today. I wish you all the best with the rest of the school year.
Great, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for watching Onward Lebanon, which airs monthly in Lebanon Channel 6. I want to again thank our auditor, Matt Nolan, and Principal Beth Kletzly for joining me today. And I wish them the very best of luck the rest of the school year. I want to again remind everyone that Lebanon City Schools has a renewal levy, issue number 2, on the May 4th ballot. This is a renewal and does not raise taxes. I encourage everyone to exercise their right to vote. To learn more about Lebanon City School District, follow us on Facebook at LebanonCitySchools.org or check out our website at www.lebanonschools.org. This concludes our short show for the month, and I thank you again. Go Warriors!